What's going on, YouTube? My name is John. The other day, I asked you on Twitter, what are some of the dumbest and craziest theories you've ever heard in zombies? I thought this could be a fun way to go back in memory lane and think about some of the dumb stuff we once believed. So we'll start off with this one right here from Devin, also known as @Ninjax9802, who says, Transit will have a zombie horse. When I had first read this one, I was like, a zombie horse? What are you talking about? So then I actually went on and Googled it, and what do you know? A certain MC Sportshawk was once again out there spreading fake news about undead animals in our zombies maps. First it was Space Dog, then the next map over on Transit, he's out there talking about a zombie horse. And basically the idea was that this thing from this freeze frame in one of the trailers was a zombie horse, thus there must be a zombie horse in this map. I don't know how I managed to miss this one back in Black Ops 2, but man, is this theory absolutely ridiculous, and it's just another instance of MC Sportshawk spreading that fake news. The next one we have comes from Mad Lobster, who says, Misty is Dempsey's daughter. This was one of those ones that I just don't get where it came from or why people said this. To me, it felt like people were just grasping at straws, where you had like the transit group, and then you had the group that was stuck on the moon, and we really wanted to be with that group that was stuck on the moon. We didn't care about the transit crew, so it was like, we'll do anything to make a connection between these two groups. And that connection just happened to be that Misty was Dempsey's daughter. Now, this wasn't true. I think maybe it came from Misty saying that her father was killed by a zombie or something like that. I don't know. It was ridiculous. And for some reason, I went on to make a whole video about this. Like, even I got swept into it. I never believed it, but I wasted my time trying to disprove this theory when I should have just let it die as it should have. Like, think about it like this. Dempsey was probably in his 20s during the Second World War. So, let's say he's 23 in 1945, hypothetically, okay? Well, Misty was in her 20s in the year 2025. This would mean that Dempsey would have to, 55 years later, around the year 2000, give birth, or not give birth, but conceive Misty, something like that. It makes no sense. He'd at that point be almost 80 years old. So you really want to tell me that Dempsey is 80 years apart, or 50, I guess, years apart from his daughter or something like that? No. The ages don't work out. Dempsey was in his 20s during the Second World War. Misty was in her 20s during 2025. The math just doesn't work. We also have one from Enigma02. These are two. This is a 2-for-1 right here. He said, Dr. Monty is the Weasel because they had similar gloves, and that Verrucht and Buried are connected because of the fountain. I will say this, at the time when Dr. Monty was first introduced to us, we had no idea who he was, and we were grasping at straws to figure out who Dr. Monty was. So I could kind of see how at times we'll make all these harebrained theories. There were so many theories and so many videos as to who Dr. Monty was, and he could have been anybody. So I'll give that one a pass. As for the Verrucht and Buried having the same fountain, I looked it up. They do have the same fountain. And sure, the fountain in Buried is a teleporter. However, this one was just ridiculous. There was no way that they were connected like that. That's just dumb. Well, the next one comes from Nick, who said, Bus Route B, LMAO. Bus Route B was funny because I feel like after Transit, we were kind of disappointed because the map felt barren. There really was only so much to do. You completed the Easter egg, it was kind of short, the reward was kind of bland, and then that was it. And then the map itself didn't really have much going on. I mean, you'd go to an area like town and there were no wall weapons, for God's sake. What do you do in the map half the time? People were really unhappy with this map and they wanted something to save it, something to make it better. And the allure of Bus Route B, because you had Ted talking about alternate routes and you had a sign in the spawn that mentioned Bus Route B, and you thought just maybe there's a second bus route, and that second bus route can save this map and make it so much better. Alas, there was no Bus Route B. This one's kind of ridiculous. Nick69 Donald Duck 69 says a boat will crash into 5 at round 50. I will say this. I have never been to round 50 on 5, so I cannot confirm with my own eyes that a boat does not crash into 5 at round 50. However, I did Google it to be sure, and I just feel stupid for Googling it. Not to mention, how the hell would a boat crash into the Pentagon? So, I'm not sure who is believing that theory, but I'll leave that one to you, Nick. We have one that says, Sal, I remember way back in the Black Ops 2 days when people were saying that Die Rise was going to be like Transit with a bus driver wagon riding all around. I miss those days. Shit was always wild. I remember this. This was actually based on a leak. Somebody had went on to say that, oh, I worked for Treyarch, I got fired. You know, the same old story, and they're like, this is what's going to be in the map. Or maybe he was a playtester. I don't remember. There were so many fake Die Rise leaks, though. And this one, you started in a mound in the center of the map, and then it would break off into almost like a plus, I think, and a wagon would take you into different directions. And I think the idea was that it was basically going to be like a Transit 2.0, except there was a centralized location, and the wagon would take you to and from. Obviously, the leak was fake. We ended up getting Die Rise, but oh man, I don't know if there was another map that had more leaks than Die Rise. Aether Zombie History says that Al Arlington is Dr. Monty's son because of Monty's quote, "Go on, son," when you pick up Al's hat in Revelations. And then Dr. Monty replies, "No comment." He is not claiming the child. Yeah, this one is obviously fake, but the "Go on, son" is an interesting quote, and the Al hat is just interesting in general, because it was there, but it never did anything, and it never got any explanation. Now, obviously, Al is significant to the Mob of the Dead story, and then, of course, he and the other gangsters come back in Blood of the Dead, but how Monty is connected to Al is interesting. I don't think they're necessarily connected like we'd want to think in a way that's like game-changing and a revelation to the story, but I do think that Monty is maybe aware of Al Arlington. I mean, he does know a lot of shit, so it makes sense. Ooh, this is a fun one. Tristan Cummings says on Knocked, if you kneel in front of the mystery box and then buy it, the question marks turn yellow and it will always be a ray gun. I think this is something that every new Zombies player encounters at one point. You find out that there are these amazing wonder weapons in the box, and you're like, I just gotta spin 3 times, shoot each corner, dolphin dive, and then boom, I will get the thunder gun. And then it happens once, and then you believe it forever. This is like when you're watching a sports game and your team pulls off a miraculous victory, and you're like, all right, guys, everybody sit in the same exact location as we were last time. It's the same old mumbo-jumbo wishy-washiness. I think go ask any Zombies player and they will tell you that at one point they heard a different recipe for getting that perfect gun out of the storyline. Here we have one from Ohakava who says that the entire story is a dream. This is one that I think comes in a bunch of shapes and forms. So you have the entire story is a children's game. This one is based on the Buried ending. You have the one that says the entire story is just a comic book, and this comes from the fact that we have all of the comic books. There are a bunch of different ways people have attempted to interpret the story and put a nice bow on it and say that, oh, it was this the whole time. And the dream is just another one of them. Although I don't really remember anybody specifically saying it was a dream. I don't know about that one. So this, Ryan says, I remember in Black Ops 1, some random theorized Element 116 was going to fix everything. I don't know about Element 116 fixing everything. I'm going to have to Google that one. Oh, we're going somewhere. There's a category on the Nazi Zombies Plus Wikia. I'm not seeing anything. Oh, that's disappointing. That would have been great. Oh, okay, here we go. On the Call of Duty Zombies forum. So this one comes from Mr. Raffle Waffles, or it says guess Mr. Raffle Waffles. I don't know if this is the actual Milo. June 15th, 2012. Elements: Flerovium and Livmorium. Symbols are FL and LV. They both existed for less than a second before decaying into lighter atoms, but they bring researchers closer of making even heavier elements that are predicted to be stable for decades longer. Oh no, this is just a creation of actual elements. So from this point onwards, we won't have to refer to mysterious 114 elements as 114 Unequadium. Now we have a name for it. And for 116 too. Not actual zombie theory, but related to it. Okay, so I think this was actually Milo. Yes, so that actually wasn't related to this theory. That was just more people discovering new elements. And so good on that. Let's see. The girl in the Black Ops 2 Zombies poster is Samantha. Yeah, this was one that I never believed. I thought this was kind of silly because in Moon, Samantha was a little girl. She's trapped in Richtofen's body. So technically her body is still in the pyramid, so to say. The question was, though, who was this woman? And this was before we were introduced to Misty. And much like Zombies marketing, it often feels like it was just a tease for absolutely nothing. Like, you had this image of Misty standing over the apocalypse, but it never really incorporated into anything in-game, much like in Black Ops 3, only the curse survived. It's just silly shit like that. It was also responded to, the infected hunter said, Onion, that skull she was holding was Richtofen's. Yeah, so she's holding the skull, and the thought is that, oh man, she's getting her revenge on Richtofen. She's got Richtofen's skull in hand, and this is going to be where the zombie storyline is leading. Oh, we were so naive back then. Little did we know we were going to get an entirely new crew. We thought we were going to get a continuation of that. The only thought would be that maybe like Samantha grows up and then goes on to like do that, and that's her in the photo, but she's still in Richtofen's body, so it doesn't really work out that well. We're going to skip this one because we've already talked about this one, but Waki says, dolphin dive on top of each other, downing to increase drops. I'll admit, I did this. When I was a new Zombies player, I was told that if I dolphin dive on my partner, we will get more drops, and this would end up downing you two, and then you'd need somebody to pick you up. So I think you had to do it in 3-player games, but God, did we believe it, and had absolutely no proof. It ended up being bullshit. There is no way to increase your drops. I mean, you can play with like no carpenters and stuff like that in order to make it easier to get more drops, but no. You don't dolphin dive on your partner to get more drops, and I guess you can definitely say that it won't happen in Black Ops 4 because there is no dolphin dive. This is a funny one, and I think we'll end it on this one right here. Dimitri says Mailbox will upload again. Some people believe that Mailbox will upload again. I'm going to throw out the theory that Mailbox will upload again. However, will Mailbox upload another Zombies video? Probably not. So anyway, that's going to wrap things up for this video. This was something different. I thought it would be fun to take a stroll down memory lane, look at the other crazy theories that we've had in Zombies, and maybe we can do this again sometime. I'm going to go, though. Have a wonderful day, and bye.